Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to District 2's State of the District. My name is Ivy Wright, Legislative Aide to Commissioner Kelly Robinson. I now present to you Vice Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Kelly Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ivy Wright. Greetings and seasoned greetings to both my citizens and constituents. This is my annual State of the District address. I never know how these things are going to go. It just depends on the season. And as you know, right now we're moving into the holiday season. I wish you all, your family, the best. Safe travels, safe all of those things. And I plan on giving you a report to get you on your way. I have some citizens that are here within the courthouse, very few, but most of you guys are online. So this is going to be recorded and hopefully live broadcast. So again, let's just jump right into this thing. Again, for those who have not met me, my name is Kelly Robinson. I am the District 2 Commissioner of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. And this is an important state of the address for me, because it's during this time where I get to speak my truth. There's no point of orders. There's no got to yield the floor. This is me and my citizens of District 2 who sent me here. And to my citizens, you guys have sent me down here 4 times. All right, and this is my midterm report. I came back in office back in 2020. You guys reelected me again for my 4th term, which made me the longest reigning commissioner in this county's 152-year history. I've been in both the minority and the majority parties. I know what both sides looks like, but this is truly my final term at this level. And what's important to understand what we're doing here is, you know, when you elect somebody, it's not just about you. And again, I appreciate, when I say vote, you say Warnock, vote Warnock, vote Warnock. Well, I appreciate the senator. What I learned during that experience, though, guys, is just not about just giving your vote to somebody. It's not good enough just to vote. You hope that your representative, your senator, your commissioner, your city councilman, your school board member, whomever, your statewide, your federal, any of those individuals, they're really going to listen and try to extend your voice, to try to advocate in your interests. Most citizens who are mature enough, probably beyond 25 years old, they pretty much know that, obviously it's democracy. You got to get to 3 or whatever your majority is. But in our case, obviously it's just 3. And I think I've done a pretty good job in representing the interests of my citizens. But we're going to give an account to that right now. We're going to get a little report card here. So we're going to walk. Y'all know I can't read. This is just my prop. But let's see if we can do a good job of this, because this is important. All right. I advocated for things. I never make promises. I promise anyone nothing. I'm never beholden to anyone. I'm free. That's important as an elected official. Like, no, I get you. I hear you. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, neither, white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, doesn't really matter. Male, female, it does not matter to me. Because again, I can't see the way you guys see. I have to listen. So let's talk about this. You guys there's about 4, 5, 6 key things that were important to you. Because for the most part, citizens want to experience their tax dollars on a daily basis. Just yesterday, we had the Lee Road widening. Great project. It's in the rain. Y'all believe me, I'm sure here out there in the rain under a tent. And it was good though, because again, government doesn't stop. If my public safety can be out there, why can't I be out there for this construction that's inconvenient? And I'm gonna come back to my public safety officers in a minute. That's important. Right? So we have to mark this very important Lee Road widening. Again, that's phase 2 of us going away from Lee Road all the way over to Fairburn Road. And what's important about, again, mobility, economic development, dealing with congestion. Those are things that you told me. Yes, I lived in the villas. Yes, you my residents. I got you. I told you I was going to take care of that. I told you. That's important. Transportation is key. Obviously, we've got a SPLOST, and I'll come back to that a little bit later, but transportation is very important behind the public safety. But more importantly, it's something that, infrastructure begets economic development. And so that's always key. But let me go down my list. I mean, in addition to the transportation, we talked about what we talked about. Street lights, sidewalks, check. Now, remember, I'm in my mid-year report. Check. We got sidewalks going in Boundary Waters, obviously from Anawake up to the park, over to, obviously, the school. That's key. Safe passage. Citizens asked for that. I said, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Right? I didn't dictate. I listened and I served. I said, okay, it's going to take me a minute, but we did it. What is that? $1.5 million project? Sidewalks on both sides. Because remember, the county had pretty much been rural. I-20 did not go beyond what? Highway 5 when I first came here in 77. Stay with me. For those who believe that they've been here all their life, well, that's a nice little clip. I know the history, right? So it was built without sidewalks. It was built without streetlights. It was just across the river, across from, I get it, Atlanta. Atlanta's, I get it. You, my citizens. Again, this message is primarily to my citizens. Is that I get it. They said, I heard you say, Commissioner Robinson, we like it slow out here. We like, but can we get some streetlights? Can we get some sidewalks? Can we ensure safety is out here? Got you. Got it. That was important to them. Can we get some trails? Got it. Well, my receipts are long. It's because you guys gave me something to work with. Like, okay, well, it's on your spirit. I got it. Now I can't guarantee because you got to get to 3, but I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna put something on the table. I'm not gonna complain about what's not there. You guys know me. I don't complain. I just put something on the table. All right, that's key. So we got through the street lights and all that. I mean, that was important. But think about the last thing is that, you know, what's also important to you is venues. All right, so we had to take care of the youth and the seniors. All right, so we did last year on my birthday, we opened up what the senior center. Very nice, with almost $5 million project for the seniors, therapy pool, everything. That was the citizens asked for that. They said, okay, that the Woody Fight is a good asset right across the street, but what about the east side? All right, that was a bipartisan. I had my town hall in Silver Creek community, and you guys remember those who were there. 9 people were there, and at that time, Chairman Tom Worthing was there, and I mean he was my guest there. He just wanted to observe. He wasn't really bothering. And we asked him, what do y'all guys want us to do with this SPLOST? This is 2016. Pay attention. 2016. And the citizens said, well, we want a senior complex. They really want a senior high rise with a community center and all the bells and whistles. We're like, okay, I don't know if we can get there. But we came up with a compromise, a senior center, right? It's like, okay, but I wasn't in favor of buying any more land because like, man, we got enough land on our books that we own that we can use. And Commissioner, at the time, Chairman says, well, you know, we got that fire station up there. And I said, well, we need to go talk to Commissioner Mitchell because it was across the line, literally across the line. So, you know, like I had Commissioner Mitchell, look, we think about putting this in your district. You good? He's like, absolutely. That's 3 votes like that. That's how you get stuff done. You got to be bipartisan. You got to be across the board. All this narrative is silly and it's amateur. I got 14 straight years of getting stuff done. In the minority and the majority. To think that you can't get along and talk to people and put stuff on the table, you can't listen to your peers. There's nothing I ain't put on the table that I have not been inclusive. Like, come on, Ann, get in. Put some on the table. You know, I get the public narrative, guys, but that at some point you got to put that to the side and get some work done and move this county forward. The citizens deserve better. Y'all in this building, those that part of that administration, y'all know if the 100,000 citizens really saw how we did stuff as 1,000 people, they're like, really? The attitude needs to shift. The culture needs to shift. Just slightly, not as a negative, but it's like, come on, guys, we can do better than this. We shouldn't be infighting. It's like, well, I just listened to this song coming out called Self-Destruction. It goes back. No, that matters. Like, okay, guys, sometimes we can implode on ourselves. We can do better than that. Not in Douglas, I mean, citizens, you told me like you loved it. Like, okay, they don't want me to grow this. Got it. Next thing we talked about transportation is what was important is housing. Now we know the city right now is that they're putting up the apartments. But that's density. That is a city. It should do that. They're like, look, this is where we roll. They're putting up people. County's a little bit different. Like, okay, I get it. I'm not promoting it, but I understand, got no problem with it. I live in one. But the point is, I understand its impact. I get it, but you need housing options. So the county is commensurate with that. Like, look, we'll create the atmosphere. Think about it. My district, I'm 51%. I'm the only commission district. I'm 51% residential, 49% non-residential. Commissioner Carthen is 92% residential. That's a water supply, right? These are very, very different character areas. Think about it. I'm half and half. Y'all got Thornton Road, Fairburn Road, Riverside, Veterans. Look, I'm just the behemoth, right? Nothing but, look, business. That residential though in District 3 along that Chattahoochee, it's beautiful gym. It's our character area that just like, no, we like it slow, we like it quiet. That's an important character. Out west, wide open rural, 5-acre minimums, got it. We don't want no sidewalks, we just want some gravel. Cool, we can coexist. Henry's got that density of a city. Very different characters, but think about it, guys, with the redistricting map that I did this year, all 4 commission districts grew pretty much equally. That means people self-selected into what they wanted. One district wasn't more attractive than the other. People selected what they wanted. All right, so but I advanced your agenda. Madam Chair, I think that when she first came in, we got rid of the blight, right? We got rid of those blight, those incomplete communities, those pipe cities within your communities. Well, we got rid of that. Next thing we worked on is what they call Airbnbs. Thank you to Commissioner Carthen. I'm gonna come to her later. That was important, right? Okay, we gotta regulate this. The sheriff and the code enforcement, we're trying to synchronize. I'm always about alignment. Like, okay, so who got the power, who don't get the power? And so we heard you. And Commissioner Carthen, she advocated that, and that was important. We need to regulate that. We at least need to tax them. Y'all having these parties. Now I get there's a problem with event halls and I get alcohol, but y'all got these houses and these subdivisions that are off the chain more than an event hall. But I get it. It's politics, right? I mean, Airbnb every other weekend. I mean, there's 962 subdivisions in Douglas County. 962. Each one of them's got about 250 each, easy math. I got 250 subdivisions. There's always something going on, which brings me, again, that's important. Housing, creating an atmosphere in which people can have very nice dwellings. We've raised the standards, right? We raised the standards, right? We want LEED quality homes, right? We want quality builders. Madam Chair was pushing on trying to get, developers in here. And that was key. And small developers, giving them incentives so they can eat. Like, come on, guys, we can help create an atmosphere. I'll sponsor a symposium to get the major banks from Atlanta to come over here. Those that are here say, all right, you need to put some CRA, you need to reinvest, guys. And to help my developers, but it takes communication. See, one of the things I've learned with this guy, like, guys, we're looking through a mirror in plastic, and like, guys, we're neighbors. We both can benefit from each other. It's like my sons don't want the potatoes and the macaroni to touch. Like, don't let them touch. Don't let them touch. But sometimes our like we don't connect. We don't go all the way in. We don't get the fullness of who we are. We've got to grow and mature beyond the fact that, like, yeah, half this county was 72,000 people when I moved in here. 72,000 in 1990 as an adult. It's 30 years later, it's 140, which means it doubled. And while I appreciate the people who might have grown up, what the lady said, she was 9 generations. But half the population that moved in, they both coexist. They got equal voting rights, equal taxation. So then it becomes like, well, who's who? Now we're about to get real, right? Those people who've been here all their life, they believe they've got a superiority or advantage over those people who just moved out here. Well, taxes is taxes, and it's immediate. When Steve Balfour tax you, what? When I register to vote, it's automatic. Ain't no vesting. It's attitudinal. But I get it. My job is just to observe, do oversight. That's it. I just like, but I look at all these conversations, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting mindset. I'm not invalidating or marginalizing any one of them. It's just, I've got to like, okay, well, while y'all working through who's who and who's bigger and all that, like, okay, I'm going to go put up a street light down here. I'm going to go here and get this done. So there's a difference. So we talked about the housing. We know it's coming. It's beginning to come back slowly. We know appreciation. Look, we didn't raise property taxes. You guys got that lesson. We don't do that. That's over the tax assessors. They tax. We just set the millage rate. But as long as I'm here for the next 2 years, we'll never touch that millage rate. Leave that alone. We don't know nothing about no monetary policy. This ain't the Fed. You don't lower and raise like you're trying. Like, what are you doing? We're local. Once you fix that thing, let that thing ride for 10, 12 years. Your appreciation and everything on the assessment value is the thing that should move on its own. That's the, don't worry. That left it. Look at me. This is my life. Now, this is important. Just knock my glass off, but think about it. I'm doing this with my eyes closed. I didn't need them. So look, all right, so we got that. We're gonna make this turn here. So now we got, housing, we got transportation. But what else do we have? We have disadvantaged business enterprises. I think that was important. There's a richness of people who are living in Douglas County. And there are disadvantaged business enterprises, women, there's people with disabilities like myself, any other type of characteristics you want to swap, that for the most part, this was a closed county. I mean, y'all saw me lift up that for the parks and stuff, alcohol, like, okay, I can lift this up. Now it didn't go, but it didn't mean I couldn't lift it up. I just want to see what they did. Yeah, okay, it didn't go. Okay, that's cool. But that disadvantage I wasn't playing with. Because there's too many people who live out here who are historically locked out just because that's the way it's always been. I'm like, wait a minute, what now? You talking about conspiracy to do what? That's conspiracy to suppress open bid. The culture was that way. Everybody else was locked out. You know this for the cameras. You knew this. And so we began to say, look, but everybody else should be acknowledged. We're not saying guaranteed. We're not saying entitled, but what we are saying is that everybody get an opportunity to compete. Look, I got 4. Look, I've always been competed against. I don't fear competition. I don't look for passes. I ain't one of those guys that nobody ran against me. Like, look, take a shot at the champ. You better bring it. I believe in competition, right? Go ahead and compete. Now, sharpen your pencil. If you don't make it, learn, go talk to procurement, figure out, and come back at this thing. But just to outright not give equal access, equal opportunity, equal treatment, that was a problem for me because it was inequitable. That inequality was like, okay, I'm looking at this now. I'm not one of those guys just to maintain something I don't agree with. I'm not that type of elected official. I fundamentally like, okay, well, my vote is going this way. Now I'm just one vote out of what I'm representing 20%, 25% of the population, but 20%. That's important to me. That represented District 2, like, okay, guys, look, I got to go down here and do this. Y'all knew I was perfectly imperfect when y'all asked me to run, but if I go down there, I'm going to be that guy, be that voice that says what people can't say, shouldn't say, and won't say. That's my job, and I have no problem with it. I've loved. Thank you. I've loved. This is fun. I got this. I've loved serving. To really get in here, like, no, guys, come on, do right. Like, look, and you have this little small 1%. It's like we got the winter ball coming up at the chamber. So it's about 1,500 people go, 1,000 employees and 500 of their spouses and friends. It's 150,000 people. So that's the 1%. It's the power structure. It could, like, I'm looking at it like, okay, I get it, but what about everybody else? What about the 99%? Yeah, you're talking about following, receipts and stuff. Uber. No, you need to follow that real money. Look who's getting them contracts. Don't get me started. I'll let Commissioner Carter handle that. Like, look how the money flows. Look how people come in and out, retire, come in and out, man. Look at this. Look how look at this. Now, again, as long as you compete, I get it. And I get, some like us, we truly got to be democratic. I know some of our constitutionals, they don't because they got the power. They pick who they want to. I get it, but don't act new. Don't act like all of a sudden, don't do that. We all held to the same standard. All right, let me keep going. All right, so again, those 9 things I just routed off, guys, including the last one, which is really about, as I talked about, civic and community engagements. And again, that was important to me because, again, I agree with all of you. Let's not grow government. But there are nonprofits and organizations out there that actually can do good work. Think about it. We got a community service board. Ray Lightfoot, one of the best directors we got here. That he's already doing that type of community service. He works with nonprofits. So the recent conversation we had on the board, people like, we're concerned about these nonprofits. No, you're just concerned because it's being broken up. These people are being here just as long as I have and you have. And that mindset that I don't see them is disconcerting. To sit there on that board, and I get it, we all coexist. Nobody's like, but I'm like, oh Lord, but I'm gonna vote like I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna advocate for what I advocate for. And if 2 go with me, that's the way it's gonna go. And if 2 don't, it won't. But some of the narrative is just so, it's violent. It's like, well, who are these? And they're looking at you like, well, who are you? And I've got to sit there and like, oh, look at this. This ain't personal for me. And Kelly Robinson is cool. The commissioner has to sit here like, okay, be stoic, be advanced, be seasoned. But no, also to my citizens, like I told y'all that this was going on, that this was going to be a hard fight. It wasn't going to be easy to be able to change the county that was more reflective of all of us. But look, we'd have made the turn. So let's get on. I'm on the back side of this. So listen, that was the past. Look, think about it. I'm in my second year of my fourth and final term at this level, but I've accomplished all the data points in 2 years. There's nothing else for me to do. That's effective. Everything my citizens who sent me down here for on my little postcard, I know somebody's gonna go out there and try to audit the claims he made, like bring it. Bring it. I accomplished everything I said I would do. Legislation, you name it. Right? That's important. Now let's talk about, let's turn the corner. Let's talk about judicial. Oh boy, that's the present day is judicial. How are we going to handle our courts? How are we going to handle this building here? I want to thank the citizens of the county, citizens at large for that SPLOS. Oh boy, one of the buckets that we did, which was important, is we talked about transportation, public safety, parks and rec, but facilities. I understand that safety is important to you. All right, it's the triangle. You got the DA, you got the sheriff, you got the judges. It's the triangle. Clerk's in the middle. So you got to coordinate all of them. Right? That's the triangle. Right? So you won't, if the sheriff go out there and do what he's doing, we won't say, well, you got a process. The DA got to have help. You need courtrooms. We've outgrown our current structure. We're on the docket to have another fourth Superior Court judge. We probably need another magistrate, another juvenile. We've outgrown this, which means the board has to move. All right, so we got to convert this. I hear you, judges. We get it. Y'all are lean and mean, y'all for the most part, but okay, we get it. Got to make room for you. But let's talk about public safety. Let's talk about public safety. Now, y'all know doggone well for these four terms, I've been solid. I'm all about public safety. Put the narrative aside, and I need the elected people to be put aside. Let me talk to the brass. No, man, I appreciate what y'all do. Like if this was an autocracy. It's not, but if it was, absolutely. Right, I mean, don't get everybody else wrong. I'm talking public safety. I'm talking about all public safety, fire, sheriff, all those collectively. Like, no, I got it. Because you do one, they don't carry everybody else. The fire and chief, everybody just gets to roll by default. But listen to this. I mean, I'm listening to the legislation talking about they want to give $56,000 across the board at the state and the local level. I'm like, I'm game. Look, I woke up this morning that late. Okay, now we're talking. Got it. We're gonna take y'all from 46,000 at the sheriff up to 56. That's your entry point. We're gonna take the fire from what is it? Deputy 43, 45, 50 on the fire. Easy math. So all right, that's what $10,000 for easy math per person. That's 500 people. All right, what's that? 5 million. 5 million. I put that benefits on top of that. 7 million. I'm game. Y'all gonna supplement it, General Assembly? Y'all gonna get him a supplement. Y'all gonna supplement this. I'm game for that. Oh, Madam Chair, should we put that on our delegation, Madam ACA? Oh, I'm gonna bring that up. Don't just say stuff like that we gonna, not if you ain't gonna fund it. But they deserve it, but I get it. Again, we, at some point, the sheriff budget up to 41% is getting up there, guys. At some point, at this rate, you could be 60 to 70%. It's just purely public safety. At some point, you become a military state. Because your whole budget gets consumed by the natural inflation. I'm not saying anything bad. Like, okay, you can just do the math. Because everything else has to be spread. So you got to spread it out over everything else. If you just concentrate it in that one area, it will take it all up like this. And the other areas will get depraved. But I'm game to and they deserve it, guys. I get it. But please don't ever say, I don't care. That's a lie. You don't even know me like that. That's one of my favorite songs too. You don't know me. I get what it takes. I've lived a life in that urban. I understand what we're trying to avoid. I understand what it takes for you guys, what y'all doing to hold Douglas down like y'all doing. Y'all still got this reputation where, I don't bring that over here. Behave now. Thank you, guys. I get it. That's why I've always okay, Sheriff Miller, you need another 5% on top of everybody else? Got you. Got your 15-point sheriff pounds? Got you. You need some cars and some horses? Got you. You want a new jail because that old one's that like, okay, I supported it my first year in. Let's put it before the people. If they want it, done. Don't ever question my public safety. Ever. Like I get the politics and the he and all that stuff out there. That's childish to me. Wrong guy, wrong generation. These guys do a good job. And I hate that there's this negative, violent narrative amongst our own where you're pitting, like, why are you pitting this? That ain't gonna motivate. That has a counterproductivity. Don't you get this? Like, all you gotta do is talk. Like, look, all right, so Madam Chair, I got what, 15 more days, maybe? Look, all I can say is like, look, we can, before I go, all right, let's see what we can do. We got to still swallow the 10% we currently got and the 5% next year, but all right, on my way out, let's see if we can set this up. But don't create an atmosphere. Well, let me just get out your way. My vote don't matter. Look, I'm good. You don't need me. It's different combinations of 3. You know how we do District 2 lately. Look, we good. We cool. We gonna keep moving. Listen to me. I do listen. And people talk about, no, guys, all I can do is listen. I go to my little district, my satellite office right down Thornton Road. Yeah, guys, that's the only time I can connect to people. I'm not out there on that Facebook. I cannot see. I'm not only looking at the things you do and getting your information and perpetuate. Look, I don't know about all that. I got to go down here and feel my citizens. I got to listen to them. Right? I got to take in, okay, what's going on in your career? What's going on in your life? Okay, Commissioner Robinson, why is this? Commissioner Robinson, why is that? Right? I got to do it differently. I'm not going to do it your way. I'm not going to be beholden to that. Because you got to give room for me. I can't see. It's not that I'm not productive, pound for pound, best in the math. But please, I've got to say it. I've got the floor. You treat each other right. I've watched this for 14 years. I've seen every commissioner. Seen them all. And again, it's like, I do believe there's a time, there's a season no, that's just about right. Me and Madam Chair together, this was a great ride for me. Madam Chair, she asked me the other day, well, what do you think? I said, Madam Chair, this was a ride. We came in with, that was a senatorial run, 6 years. We rode entire spots. I mean, we just bang. What? Irrefutable. Above reproach. What you gonna say? Got the money right. Yeah, it was bumpy, it was stable, but look, we got hold of this thing. Like, all I know, look back at it like, what were y'all saying? What now? We did well, District 2. You guys, we took care of you. We didn't just concentrate all money in one spot. We dispersed it. Then you award us with another one. Oh, Lord. Thank you. Because you saw the fruit. Yeah, you out there see that stuff, but you're like, okay, whatever. See, my citizens are like, okay, whatever. Most of the negative comments I get are from people who ain't from my district. You ain't in my district. My citizens like, I got you. But it's been faithful. It's been such an honor. Again, our budget is great. $124 million budget. We just approved the first time a 5-0. Can y'all believe we got a 5-0 budget? Road. We got a new CFO in there. Now we cooking. Now we got control of how the money moves. Oh, Lord, I love it. Now we're solid. Not that it wasn't, but now we got the policies in place. We got the understanding. Yes, you got to get educated on how this moves. We did a great job, an absolutely great job. It's solid. That's all I can say. I ain't saying this. I ain't as big as the sheriff and Lieutenant Colonel Powell. I'm welterweight. I'm Mayweather. I'm not heavyweight. But that's what the county is. The county is about like me. It's solid. It's got just enough. It's got a 6-pack. That's it. But that's it. It's solid. It's healthy. But it can't take too much stress. You got to be wise over this. I can't go be lifting stuff like, no, that's too big for me. I'm good. Let me stay in my lane. The county is like that. Like, no, Sheriff, I got you. But we can't swallow that right now. Like, okay, it's like, the snake put that big old, pig in there. Like, no, he got to finish swallowing what he got. You can put another one in front of him, but he like, I can't get to that. Work with me. All right. So again, I get it. I really understand. And it is such an honor to serve. I mean, this ain't easy. This ain't easy. And I don't mind the microscope. I get it because it makes me better. I remember one of the guys on the SPLOST team, David Good, said to me one day, Commissioner Robinson, you actually like that stuff. I said, where'd you get these? He said, no, you really like. I said, you're right. I enjoy advocating for my citizens. I understand what it means to compete. I understand. Guys, I'm full-time on part-time. Don't ever forget, I am my aide. I write like, okay, did you get some sleep? I never go dark. I mean, she get these texts from me 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, make a note, make a note, make a note. I never go dark because I put in real work. That's why, like, okay, I can't sustain this. I got to pull up. But to that point, I was sold out to the county. That was the effectiveness. I gave my soul to this. Like, all right, Lord, I mean, I know I'm perfectly imperfect, but can I get this one thing right? Can I serve the people in such a way like that let them see a commissioner like, look, I don't know what other commissioners done. I'm not legacy. I don't know anybody that I just know that somebody bumped into me in Ruby Tuesdays on Douglas Boulevard and said I should run. You must be out your mind. And a week later, and I won't get into my story, I'll say that for my memoir, but for the most part, it's like, no, here I am. You know, I mean, life went through a divorce. It happened. 08, no problem. That part everybody already knows. But had I not gone through divorce, had I not been online, had I not met this person, I wouldn't have been a commissioner. But here I am, and it forever changed my life. I kicked and screamed to do this. I was like, no, this is not me because I'm not Obama. I'm not Warnock. I'm not those guys that like, no, that's not me because I'm going to be that guy. I'm just not going to do that. That's not my shape. Like you send them to me, look, I get stuff done. So I say this as I make my turn. As I make the turn, you know, I talked about the public safety. I talked about judicial. I mean, you know, I believe that, you know, I remember one time, this time last year, we were going through all this county attorney stuff. And, you know, during some of the conversations, some of the comments up on the floor was, they were upset that I was telling the people. And I'm like, what do you mean? And it was the spirit. It's like, okay, I can't mean, it's cool that you're in, but why are you telling the people? That was offensive to me. Like, well, wait a minute, I'm not. Well, who are you serving? What? It was a spirit, like, and it came at me like, whoa. And that spirit said, well, let me get off this stage. And looked at me with I'm like, I see you, but wow, to my citizens, look. So when I give you education, when I take my time to explain, that's for your benefit, because you don't, this system will bamboozle you. My job is oversight. I'm looking at the people, I'm looking at the government, I mean the administration. That's what I'm so vocal, like, okay, come on, staff, y'all playing. You treat the citizens like, okay, you can be reached. Act right now. Don't act like guys, you got a lot of demi-gods that in these staff positions that treat citizens like, okay, and I appreciate we're doing customer service. We're shifting. I appreciate Madam ACA and Deputy Perry. We're shifting customer service. It's attitudinal. Like, come on, guys, these are our neighbors, but we're sitting there with power as if like we're the bomb. So anyway, I say all that to say that, you know, and I'm going to take a few questions here. Thank you. I heard you. I'm going to take a few questions. But here's the thing about this. You know, being elected, it's an honorable, it's sacrificial. It's something that, you know, you say you want this. I know people are, you know, probably 8 or 9 y'all trying to like, no, y'all ain't going, y'all got to earn this. It was his name, Senator Ames. I don't know where he's from. He got a book called Capital Letters. I just saw it on C-SPAN. And he talked about these 3 things. It was like a little excerpt on what is called book night, whatever it is called on books. And he said the following. He was standing there, this senator guy, and he says, you know, he had 6 terms, 6 senatorial terms. I'm like, woo, 6. He said the following. He says, man, I've enjoyed this thing. You know, he was an older guy and he's humble. He said, I enjoyed this thoroughly. Listen to what he says. He says, look, you got to learn the rules. I said, here, here. He said, you got to advocate for this. I'm like, here, here. Right. Right. You got to represent you. He says, you got to understand the structure of things. I'm like, bang. Thank you, Mr. Senator. That means I had it right. You got to understand how this thing fits. You got to understand rules to move things forward. And of course, you got to advocate. My dad said something about longevity as I close coming around. I actually got an hour and a half, but I'm going to go longevity. And when I kicked and screamed about running for office, you know, again, remember my dad was a cowboy, guys. He did rodeo. He was on the bull. He did that stuff, rode horses and stuff. Man, I had to clean that stall out. So I got to work ethic. Y'all got me confused. Y'all don't know me. I had to clean that stall out. My mom worked for the government, you know, federal government. All right, so I'm both. I'm rural and urban. I'm both. So I can appreciate both. So anyway, I'm telling the story. My dad wrote me his last email before he passed. You guys, as you know, he passed in 2012, 3 rounds of cancer, 7 years. And I had to be the guy that sits there and making the decision. And this is related. So, you know, we come into the hospital in Cleveland and we're sitting there. And I need y'all to appreciate this. My dad's going through, he's like, that last round, I'm tired. I'm good. So me and my brother, we roll up there because he was down here with me at that time, 2012. We roll into the hospital. This is Cleveland Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic. We roll in. All right. So he's surprised to see me, all my siblings. We up there. Like, and so you got these doctors and they're sitting there. Now my sister, the oldest, she's the one who works, you know, she's the caregiver. And so there she's sitting on the bed. And so me and this brother at the end and all these doctors and stuff. And this is what they said to me. They all says, well, it's time to, you know, his heart is failing. And so since his heart is failing, we need to have a surgery. Now I'm just listening. I'm just coming in off a plane like, okay, what's going on? Because my sister said, no, you need to get up here now. Okay, what now? And they're telling the story, and I'm watching it's about 6 doctors and nurses, and they're sitting there and they're huddled, and my dad and my sister, and me and my brother, and then they turn around, well, his heart, well, what's the likelihood that he's gonna make it? They said, well, his heart is failing, it's a low probability, and he's gonna feel it. And so everybody turns to me and looked at me, and I'm like, this is going down in the moment. This is what it means like being elected, being ready for moments like, no, what do you do? When they're asking you in that moment, wait a minute, what are you saying? So then you heard this little, like almost an intern about, well, there's another option. And so what the option was morphine. Morphine surgery. Now, it still ain't hit me yet. Like, and they're looking at me like, okay, I got to pick the inducement strategy for my father. I got to be that guy. Oh, Lord, I'm looking at him. He's looking at me, and I'm like, wait, you looking at me? And I'm like, oh, Lord, well, medicine. Now you don't want to go out in pain. And he's like that. Right? Make those decisions. So I'm going back to now, I'm going through all the books, doing all the obituary stuff. My sister gets this, I sent her my last email from Dad. He said, remember the guy you beat, Camp guy, in parentheses, Charlie Camp. He said, remember that guy you beat, and you didn't want to run for office or more than one term. He said, there's something about longevity. And that was his last sentence. There's something about longevity. I can say that now, like, I get it. I understand what it means to be here this long. And it's not that long. It's just enough. Like, look, I had 2 presidential cycles, a senatorial cycle, and I'm about to finish up in a congressional 2-year cycle. I've seen it all. And I say this to all of you to say, like, no, I get it, but government should change. These lifers know that you got to have enough experience to know what you're doing to be effective, because you got to be able to push back on staff, because staff has institutional knowledge where they become like dim-eyed, like, okay, wait a minute now, hold on, back up now. That's the oversight. That's the check and balance. So you need somebody who's seasoned enough to know the rules of engagement to be able to push back. Like, now you know that ain't right. Right. So I say all that, say, guys, it's been an absolute honor. And so as I begin to transition now, again, you know, Commissioner Trinity Carthen from the 3rd District will now become the vice chair. As soon as she's sworn in, my last meeting was on Tuesday. It is something that the board chose to now have the vice chair be broken up. Every 2 years, they pick one like other counties. Madam Chair picked me to begin with, and it was her choice alone. She didn't have to give it up, and I don't think there was enough votes to support the change, but I was a deciding vote that says, no, we need to groom the next generation. So Commissioner Carthen is a different voice, and it's what we need. I'm a warrior, but we're good now. We're stable. Now we got a new young Mr. Francisco is a new commissioner out in the 4th District. I'm sure he's welcoming. So you've got a new second in command, and then you've got a new commissioner. And so that's going to be a totally different dynamic. Me, Henry, and Ann have been running for what, 12 years? That's a long time. That's enough. Time to move on. So I could see within one cycle, y'all should have Madam Chair should have an entire new commission. That's me. Take it forward, right? Step up. Don't complain about what we're doing. Put your name in the ring, right? And my last thing is, again, Commissioner Carthen, she will do a great job, and I'm looking forward to her and her leadership and stuff. And I get to become Calvin Smyer and Claiborne. I get to step to the background. And again, to my district, it has been an honor. I mean, it's just, there's nothing that I have not been able to do. I mean, on your behalf, it's like, okay, anything you gave me, I went and got. Some degree, some measure, some provision, not in the absolute sense. Please don't take my words out of place. But it's just saying like, man, it's just been an honor, man. It's just like, but I want to end on a good note. I'm going to walk out with my head held high, knowing that I fought for you. I never backed down from one person or one battle, ever. It was okay with every now and then, like my sister said, Commissioner Robinson, we don't care if you win or lose. We just like the fact that you fight, that you stand up, that you don't give ground. But if you had to give ground, you're okay. You do it gracefully. Now, again, everybody's human. They don't like to be attacked personally because, again, everybody ain't that saved. But you guys get it that, the things that we have to take as elected officials, you got to want to really do this to be effective. And if and again, if I ever want to stay and keep my job, now I'm going to compromise. You'll compromise. Because if you start, to me, if you start making decisions based on you don't want to piss nobody off, now you're compromising. Because you don't want to piss this person off. You're afraid about this. So you can keep your job, but you ain't moving nothing. Because you're contained. But you're self-imposed. I like being free better. I'm going this way. This is what I plan on doing. So Q&A, I've got a few questions. Anybody got a question for me? Ivy, Tiffany, anybody? I can make mine up. Yes, ma'am. The priorities for District 2, again, my citizens set priorities. But if I can tell you what's on the docket right now, we've got this brand new SPLOST that's coming up. What's important is transportation. Some of the roads that we need to finish out, some of the east-west connectors. So I would say number one is the lead road, both widening and extension. Number one, got to get that done. And I say transportation is key. Number two for District 2 is deal with that traffic on Thornton Road. That's key. That's two questions. So what else?
I am noticing construction on Fairburn Road near the Lee Road intersection. What kind of future economic development is expected in that area?
Yeah, that's what they call, we're calling it, I think it's the Falls. And this is about almost 100 acres. I know Chris Pumphrey will hold me to it, but it's not more than 100 acres. It's about $185 million development. And so it has not only a studio going in there, it also has commercial Class A office spaces going in there. It has townhomes or apartments going in there. It has retail going in there. And so it's a master plan in which the citizens of District 2 weighed in on. So to the citizen that asked us, your peer neighbors weighed in on a master plan study. And so now we're manifesting that. And so that is the impetus in which we're expanding. While we've got to expand Lee Road all the way over to Chapel Hill. That's key. So it's not just the widening of Lee Road, it's extending it from Fairburn Road right there at Publix all the way to Chapel Hill. That's key. What else?
Citizens find information about 2022.
22 SPLOST. Right now, all our committee chairs are right now working within their committees to come up with their list. So we've got a public safety group, we've got a transportation group, we have a Parks and Rec group, and we have a facilities group. So we have chairs of each one of those categories, and they're going to come out with lists. And so by January, the end of January, the list will be completed and voted on by the brand new, fully put back in group. We'll be going to Wall Street probably around in March or April in order to turn the penny SPLOST. So keep the penny SPLOST going in April 1st.
Are there
More, okay, so how did I get all the way over here then? Why y'all let me? All right, transit. Transit is key. Mickey Medina came. She was a citizen, dear after my own heart, came this past at our meeting. And one of the things in transit, we came through, and Madam A said, you can go with me on this. So we just finished a 3-year pilot program, FTA, and we're going to be doing what? Why don't you help me out with this? We're going to be taking those results, and what are we going to do with those results?
Thank you. So with those results, we are going to look and we're doing a comprehensive transit study right now to just look at all of the options for transit in Douglas County. And we will be getting input from all of our citizens, all of our stakeholders. So this is the time we want to hear from you here in Douglas County about what are the best transit options, and we will take that, bring those recommendations to the board for the board to formulate a plan
to make Connect Douglas a great thing for our county and for it to continue to provide the great service that it does.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna close with this about the future, because you brought up a good point. Right now, one of the main things I am working on personally is what's called the future land use map. There's two things they tell cities when they're first incorporated: control your land, your zoning, your land, and control your public safety. That's how cities are incorporated. There's 64 functions of government that we're negotiating right now with the city of Douglasville, Billerica, and Austell. But as a base, always control your zoning and control your public safety. Everything else is just nice to have and stuff. So I say that we're right now going to what's called a future land use map review, where we got this big committee of citizens from all over, all of our districts, all different stakeholders, commercial, residential, you name it, they're talking about and they're shaping the zoning of the future. Where we're going to allow parks to go, where we're going to allow certain industrial to go. We're reshaping the map. And I always, again, I'm coming back to the character. Douglas County is a gem. It should be protected. Don't let the economic engine from Atlanta come over here and mow this over. But you still got to, you got to manicure it. You know, you do want value to increase out here. You just don't want it to just be weeds and rags and like, no, you got to fix this infrastructure now. So it's what you let in and how you go about applying what you do. Right. And so as I look at this one, I'm like, what are we going to do about District 4? Come on, guys. I'm pretty much built out. Mine's by default. You could be intentional out there. Right. So District 3, well, they want to stay residential. That's a war spot. So keep that. Henry is pretty much taken care of by the city. So that's going to be influenced more by the city. But we got to figure out, like, okay, how do we want to shape this, guys? My city said, look, we just want some better restaurants. Can we get some better grocery stores? I was just at Brookmont. They simple, like, look, we good. But a lot of your tax dollars, as much as our SPLOST and SLOSS are doing well, there's a lot of money to still go out here over into Atlanta for quality of life. Right. So my goal is that, okay, can I at least create the atmosphere in which developers and people can come and invest in us? Can I have easy bureaucracy so people can do business with Douglas better? I think that's going to be key. Can I change the attitude of staff? Like when you meet people, like, guys, don't act like that. Come on. But I get compensation. I understand incentive. I understand training. And we're going to do that. We're going to take care of you. But at the same point, you only exist because of the citizens. Never get it twisted. Every worker only exists because of the citizens, because it's the board and those other elected officials who put in office a long time ago that began to create the jobs that you now have. Don't ever forget that you are servants as well. And that's key. But as we move forward, guys, I mean, to my citizens, we got this. We got money. We got a study for everything you can think of. We got right talent coming in. We're growing them. So I think the future is really, really, really bright. But I do want to say, I get it. Let's not get out of hand. Don't let it get away from us. Let's be thoughtful. Let's be serious about public safety. I got you. Let's just try to get these courts going. Let's get these people through the system. I got it. All right. But it takes three. I have no problem. I had no problem paying public safety last year, saying, like, look, we can pay them get $1 million, totally dedicate them off the top. See, people forget about those narratives. Like, no, I was a guy that the board didn't want to do it, but I'm like, no, okay, we'll do it like the military. Remember, they got the federal government budget and the military budget. I'm like, well, let's treat them like that. $1 million is totally dedicated to public safety. It has nothing to do with this. Off the top, 1 million. There it is right there, guys. Yes, it's going to cost us initially, but now it's totally dedicated. Yeah, put your money where your mouth is. Put your vote where your mouth is. Like, let's really take care of them if you want to take care of them. But again, I am dedicated to it. Now, I just had to leave on the public safety note. Please don't get it wrong. Douglas County, we do believe in order. We do need it. We need it. I care. And if I could, I would. But I've got to work within the context of a team. And these guys, it does matter, guys. They do a lot for us, and they do it without that. They just want to know if they're being acknowledged. Right? I mean, yes, you need the incentive, you need the training, you need the education, you need all that stuff. But at the same point, like, okay, you know what these guys do? And so I do appreciate my public safety. Don't get to it, guys. Run into fire, run into other stuff like, okay, the bullets. Like, guys, y'all know what they do? They do need to be taken care of. It needs to be thoughtful. It needs to be like, okay, I'm game. Not for any wrong reason that you're wrong or you're evil or villainized or criminalized. That's BS. That ain't a good way to get my vote. But I'm like, no, but that's what I'm saying. Put them aside, guys, to the public safety officers and all you guys. I got you. Just give me a minute. And I'll do the best I can to sort of leave on a very good note that it mattered. To me, you do need to take care of them. but not just for the sake of just like most staff who won't see promotions and see people leaving, they want to get up and get up. I get life, I get family, but you guys do it because you care, you committed to the craft. It's different for people who just want to have jobs. You to do that, you gotta want to do that. You gotta believe in doing that. And so for that, that goes without like, okay, I get you guys. You shouldn't have to say it. And I hear you and I get it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring this to a closure. This is my annual District 2 State of the District. It has been an absolutely honor to serve you. A couple of quick notes. I'll go ahead and finish it out. Next month, I'm going to be doing really what's called my first annual glaucoma awareness, and really it's evolving into more blindness and vision improvement and maintenance. So it's going to be a very great event. It's going to be at what I want to call the Hilton Hotel. You know, got to keep it in my district over there off of Thornton Road. So we'll host it there in January. More information to come. And the second thing is we're going into what our 7th annual Doing Business with Douglas, and I'm going to continue to promote that. Promote opportunities. We've got the SPLOS coming. You've got this I-285 coming. You got opportunities to participate in the team and do all types of things to improve your quality of life and your family and stuff, and to get better and to serve your own public. You shouldn't have to go over to Atlanta to hunt. You can hunt in your own backyard. You just got to compete. So we're going to have that, and that's going to be hosted by Mr. David Good and our new procurement officer, Ms. Latanya Amon. So we've got a couple events coming up next year, but again, I'm stepping back to my citizens. Yes, I truly am stepping back. I'm just going to be the old head for the next 2 years to help guide from behind. I'm going to continue to run my committee chairs, which is transportation, economic development, and finance. And again, but I do have a life I've just been holding off on. I just been downplaying it and stuff. So please don't get me wrong. There's other things to me that I just haven't shared yet. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for attending, and for those who are really paying attention online. My name is Kelly Robinson. I'm the Commissioner of the 2nd District, Vice Chairman of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. I want you to have a season's greetings. Thank you and good night.